Someone wrote in and said, coming out of the top of your head?
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
What do they say? We have writing people who write us and say nice things and ask us questions.
They said, this woman said she could feel her partner's arousal energetically, and she really likes it. She wants to feel more of that. How can she tune in more and feel that more?
Cool. Got it.
Read about sex. Readaboutsex.com.
I go by many names.
Should we start
Cathy
again?
Vartuli of theintimacydojo.com. No. These people, they like us.
They know us.
Okay, so you're making out or whatever in this situation. You're feeling your partner's arousal, and then that's turning you on. And then, ideally, your turn on, your partner's feeling that. And so they're getting amped up, and then there's kind of like this loop where you're both getting each other turned on.
Yeah.
And
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
And so, for those of you who do not speak woo-woo fluently, that's kind of a really basic idea or description of what a lot of people work on in Tantra, is the ability to be able to
tune in,
to connect with your partners, tune in with your partners, and then use that erotic energy, that sensuality, that arousal, to almost like you're hang gliding, like you're catching a thermal draft, and you can pick it up and go higher. For those of you who don't speak woo-woo, you're in luck. I'm a dork and a geek, and I actually teach a workshop called Energetic Sex for Pragmatists, which is is some basic Tantra-y approaches, but with not stripped of the woo-woo, because I think using the Tantra vocabulary and the Sanskrit language for some people is really helpful, because we don't have a lot of great words in English for nuanced sexuality and sensuality. And for some people who work in corporate culture 9 to 5, you're driving your kids to the soccer game and stuff.
Energy means like electricity or oil and gas.
So using like Kundalini and Shakti and Kriya, using words, descriptive words from other languages, could also help get you out of your 9-to-day work mode, so that you can actually access and have access to things that mom and dad probably weren't teaching you, or culture wasn't teaching growing up. That's the context. What my advice is learning how to tune in more to your partner, so that you can pick up more of that energy and arousal, so that you can listen better, and at the same time learning how to really maximize the pleasure of that turn on for yourself, which, while it might be erotic and turn your brain on, has a lot to do with how do you leverage what we know about our bodies and pleasure, which has a lot to do with your pelvic floor, certain positions, things like that.
I think it's also really important to do work on being present and self-acceptance during sex. Because if you're going in your head, oh my God, I got to hold my stomach in, and I can't let him see me on this position because my boobs flop or whatever. It's really hard to be present. If you're not really present with the actual experience, there's no way to tune into what your partner's feeling.
And that's why, literally, for some people, sex is better in the dark, because they don't have to worry about. They know their partner can't see them.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, my boobs can be flopping all over the place.
Yeah.
Or this or that.
Talking about the shames that we might have and the fears and getting those out of the way allows presence. And if you can't have presence, you're not going to. The amazing advice you gave is not going to make a bit of difference.
So what would your advice be for this person?
Oh, I think I don't want to interrupt yours, but basic first thing is just be present in your body, in the now, in the sensations you're feeling. Because if you're thinking, oh, I should do this, or is this part over, or unless you can be present with the actual experience, you're not going to be able to tune into the woo-woo stuff, the kundalini, the energy, and feel that feedback. Because you'll be too caught up in your head and the shoulds and oughts and what am I going to do tomorrow? Like, I forgot to get the kids' homework done or whatever. We can be so caught up in that. So basic presence is the first step for me.
I think we're going to shoot a video right after this on presence by Cathy Vartuli. Other things to do, learning how to leverage and augment your body. Your pelvic floor, certain positions that you can get into, so that their arousal that you're kind of, water skiing behind, like it's pulling you along. While that's happening, you're really getting traction in your own body, or asking your partner to put, their hand here in this way, so that you can up the physical pleasure that you're having, and also learning how to up your partner's physical pleasure, or having them be able to up it for themselves, so that now it's not just the energy of arousal, but it's the actual physical pleasure that you're leveraging in your body.
Yeah.
All that being said, the 2 resources I have immediately that you can check out, you can go to readaboutsex.com/store, and there is my workshop on energetic sex for pragmatists.
Great
and then
idea.
I also have a 6-week workshop called Sex 10X, which geeks out on all this kind of stuff. And there's some free videos there for you to check out if you want to go geek out on that more. So just go there and then figure out what works for you and avail yourself of that. Other resources?
Well, we're going to talk about presence, and there's some resources we can give there. I think just playing with it too. Like just a lot of people start out when they're first playing with energy, they imagine like just putting energy in your hands and feeling. Imagine that you can store energy and feel it, like just connecting with it, and even doing that with a partner, like where you have energy between you, like moving it. Yeah, there's some really good exercises you can do where you can learn to tune in, because I don't think we're taught as a society how to be aware of energy. We're not taught as kids, like, oh, of course that's energy, what you're feeling, that's really cool. We're taught to ignore it. Until you retune your senses to it, it can feel a little bit weird.
And from a pragmatist who like, fuck energy, like, you're too woo-woo for me, I have you covered, my friends, because I'm a skeptic. So this whole thing, we know placebo effect is real and measurable and reproducible in studies, so you don't have to believe jack shit to have it enhance your sexuality.
Placebo effect or whatever, if you're feeling a lot more fun, why not?
Yeah. And there's things about breathing exercises where you're, oxygenating and releasing endorphins and making sound, and then being in yab-yum, all these things covered ad nauseum in certain workshops of mine. Also check out Barbara Corrales' Urban Tantra, and a lot of the workshops that Monique Darling teaches, and she's always traveling, can be really useful and helpful, and you get to also geek out with like-minded people.
Yeah.
Leave some comments, resources in the description. Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like...